Mangrove Wilderness by Bianca Levies. This story is an expository nonfiction story because it has facts and details about a subject. The author wrote this story, Mangrove Wilderness, to give information about a special kind of tree, the mangrove. These special trees grow along warm tropical regions like Florida, and they need to be around shallow water, and they also grow in salty water, which is very unusual for trees. Red mangrove can produce about 300 seeds a year. Not all the seeds are able to survive, but if the conditions are suitable, one mangrove tree is able to help to produce more and can help to produce a forest in about 25 years. The mature mangrove trees bloom every spring. There's a bright yellow flower that forms, and it's the first step of it bringing a seed. The thousands of flowers bloom on each tree in the spring, and then after that they drop into the water, leaving behind a rusty brown spot. And then each fruit contains a single seed, which then the mangrove seeds sprout and then become seedlings. A mangrove seedling takes root in the bottom of shallow ocean water. Some of the seedlings fall straight down and begin to grow, but some of them will just drift away to other places. The growth of the mangrove. So the seedlings can be 6 to 12 inches long, and then they begin to grow, and a grown mangrove can be 30 feet, but even reach up to 80 feet tall. Life in the mangrove forest. Here it shows you just the different types of life that exists, like from microscopic life forms to small crabs and other crustaceans. On this page, it continues to show you other animal life, such as the Everglades rat snake, the raccoons, and the different types of birds. So the mangrove wilderness food chain shows how mangroves support animal life. This selection has a lot of detailed, interesting information. If they were to turn this into a video, it would allow you to see more of what they have explained to you. Now we're going to read the small science selection called Mangrove on page 644 and 645 in your reading book, because you will need to discuss both of these selections for your test in the written response. The mangrove is a land-building tree. It lives in marshes, on seashores, and on riverbanks. Its roots let water through, but trap leaves, shells, and driftwood. Slowly, this material forms new soil around the mangrove roots. Red mangroves grow in salt water. Their roots extend a foot or more into the soil. They are able to absorb water without taking in salt. Bacteria, algae, and fungi attach to the roots. They form the start of a food chain that includes crab, shrimp, and alligators. Pink shrimp hatch in the dry Tortuga Islands, 100 miles off the southwest coast of Florida. They drift on the tides to Florida's mangrove forests, where they feed and grow. Florida. Florida has nearly 500,000 acres of mangrove forests. White, black, and red mangroves grow in the state. Red mangroves grow thickly along the southern tip of Florida in Everglades National Park. Let's review our grammar. We had future tense verbs, so remember that future tense verbs tell about something that's going to happen in the future, and they use the word will with the main verb to form the future tense. We also had conjugating verbs. Now, to conjugate a verb, you need to check that the form of the verb is correct based on the tense, whether it's present, past, or future, and then you're going to check that the verb agrees with its subject. We also went over past tense verbs. They tell about an action that's already happened in the past. And you usually add ed to regular verbs to form the past tense. Most verbs are regular verbs, but there are some spelling rules for some other words. So if the verb ends with an e, you're supposed to drop the e before adding ed, like in the word erase. It already ends with e, so you drop the e and then add ed. And then if the verb ends with a consonant, remember that's any letter that's not a vowel, so like B, C, D, and so on. You change the Y to the I, and then you add ed. So for example, in the word study, change the Y, make that into an I, and then add ed. And then if the verb ends with a vowel, remember the vowel is A, E, I, or U, and sometimes Y, or a consonant, you double the final consonant before adding ed. So here you have the word hop. It will have a double P to make, and then add ed to make the past tense form of that, to hopped. You will also have a section on context clues in your test. Remember, those are hints that an author gives to help define a difficult, unusual word within a story. The clue may appear within the same sentence as the word, or it might follow in the next sentence.